Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast. I'm Robert Scrivener.
And I'm Gayla Scrivener.
We left the 9-to-5 grind, downsized, and our goal is to have freedom to live and to work from just about anywhere.
We made it.
Yes.
Welcome to the Been There Doing That podcast. We are here at Overland Expo
East.
in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yes, we are.
We just arrived, and we thought we would have today's show about our
Adventures.
little adventure getting here from Missouri. And what have I been saying? It's not an adventure unless there's some challenges.
Yeah, a few challenges along the way.
Yeah. Well, we headed out on Monday, and the event starts on Thursday, or we needed to check in on Thursday.
We had to be here Thursday to check in because we had a volunteer spot.
Exactly. And the event is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday event, and we plan on being at the event Thursday through Monday.
So if you hear anything in the background, it's people walking around looking at us. We're doing our podcast live from the tent.
Yeah.
As of right now.
In the annex room.
In the annex room. Got the windows down and stuff. So if you hear commotion in the background, that's what it is. There's people all around.
How many people do they usually expect at these events?
I think, well, the one out west had somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this one. I'd say about the same.
Yeah.
It's in town, but it's
on the Biltmore estate.
Yes.
And there's just shy of 7,000 acres.
I don't see why they couldn't find another 48.6 acres and make it even 7,000.
I don't know. But we're right here by which river?
The French Broad.
It's it's a nice little setting, and we hope to get up to the main building to tour the Biltmore, the Biltmore house. We'll see. We'll have a different podcast episode on our actual weekend. But let's get back to our little adventure getting from Missouri to North Carolina.
Ready whenever you are.
We headed out on Monday, and
drove
because we wanted to get as many miles behind us as possible and get into Tennessee.
But we only took 0.7 of a mile on an interstate, and that was just to get across the river.
Exactly.
Everything else was just, highways or byways.
Well, and we usually don't want to, especially on these trips, we don't even want to get anywhere near an interstate.
50 mile an hour is a good place to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, we started out, you stopped before we got out of Springfield and aired up the tires.
Yep. Got petrol. And
then we were on our way. We headed east on Highway 60 and just kept going. And our first little part of the adventure started in the afternoon a little bit. I needed to stop for work. We were hungry, and you needed to get gas. And, oh gosh, it was about 4 o'clock. And
that's way in the afternoon.
That is way in the afternoon. And I cranked up the internet. We were on 641 South, and we were going to go over I-40. And I don't remember what town that was.
I want to say it was Camden, Tennessee,
right around there. And since we were in the vicinity of an interstate, I needed to get some work done, so I cranked up the old internet and spent about 20 minutes getting a project done that I really needed to get out. And you were doing something totally different.
I was checking the vehicle over just because that's what I do.
Well, what did you find?
I found that the right front passenger tire. On the wheel was missing a wheel lug nut. It broke off.
How can a lug nut break off?
Several ways.
I mean, just driving down the road?
It was on there when we left.
Yeah, because you aired up the tires.
Aired
so
up the tires.
you inspect things like that.
We had drove 400 miles, and it had broke off. I don't know. Got out the lug wrench and everything and tightened them all down, and most of them on that wheel were loose still. So I tightened them on down, checked the other wheels, and they were tight. It's just
So all all of the lug bolts or whatever, the lug nuts were loose on that right front.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't realize that.
All of them.
Goodness. Well, it kind of worried me that we were one bolt short.
Could have been the loose nut behind the wheel.
Could have
Da-dum
been.
chink.
But we went ahead and headed down the road, and we got not too far down, and there happened to be...
I want to say it was in Linden, Tennessee, where we stopped at a Napa.
Mm-hmm.
And went inside, and I purchased 2 front lug studs with 2 nuts and 2 rear lug studs with 2 nuts.
You thought having an extra...
Have an extra couple spares and stuff. That'd be nice to have.
Yeah.
So I purchased them. He made me a deal on them, and we went on our way.
And that was just right. I mean, it was literally just off our trail. I guess you can say our path.
I just pulled in the parking lot, and there it was, and pulled back out and kept going.
And so then we weren't going to fix that right there in the parking lot.
No, we wanted to get to, I think we was headed to Meriwether Lewis
Mm-hmm.
campgrounds where our destination was set towards.
And that was fairly close, actually, within the hour that we had gotten there. And we had stayed at Meriwether Lewis.
October 2015.
And that's a national park, isn't it?
That is national.
It's off the Natchez Trace Parkway.
Yep.
And it is a free campsite.
Free campsite.
It is so nice. I love it.
It is nice, fairly level parking for tent or an RV. They got several pull-through sites.
And very well wooded. No amenities.
Hardly internet.
Yeah, there's really no internet.
No cell phone service for us.
We have Sprint cell and then Verizon hotspot, and there was no service. There is no service for those two. But you didn't set up your ham radio that night, did you?
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either.
I don't think I did.
But it wasn't...
Yes, I did.
Did you talk to the fellers?
I talked to the fellers back home.
You did?
That was the first night. So, yes.
Okay. And so ham radio works.
Ham radio works.
But like I said, no amenities. But there is a nice bathroom. Very nice. It's running toilet, running water. No showers, but it's not a vaulted bathroom, and it's very clean.
Yeah, not a vault toilet or anything like that, or a pit toilet. It's a brick building. Nice, super clean inside. Well lit.
And I want to say there's 2 sets of camping, and there's like 2 bathrooms.
Yes,
We're just most aware of one little section, and but for free camping,
it's hard to beat.
Oh my gosh,
Can't beat the price.
Can't beat the price, and it's quiet. And both times that we've stayed there, and so we've really enjoyed that. We like to stop there because
we know it's free. We know it's nice. We know what it's like.
It's quiet.
And it's quiet.
Because the Natchez Trace Parkway is a pretty quiet highway, but
yes, it is.
And we must be fairly well off the beaten path, because I didn't hear any background noise. All I heard was nature.
And that was nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got up Tuesday morning from Meriwether Lewis Campground and went on and visited their little visitor center, got our national park stamp again.
Again.
We like to do that. We have the little passport book, and we like to collect those little stamps. And nothing really eventful. We just kind of drove around for a little bit and then got on our way.
Where were we headed next?
We were going to have a short day, but we did not.
You had to work, I know, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had to plan stuff around that a little bit.
Yes. And we wanted a short driving day, and so we didn't have a
set destination.
Maybe not Frozen Head.
Well,
Park.
we were gonna shoot for that, and if we ended up in somewhere else, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And we needed to work. I had 2 calls that I needed to take, and we timed it to where we pulled into Columbia, Tennessee, into a Supercenter Walmart.
Just south of Nashville and Franklin.
And you said, well, let me work on the tire or work on the wheel while you take those business calls.
Yeah, I was going to change out the lug studs on the right front.
Just that one.
Just the one that was broke.
So I started taking my first phone call, and then all of a sudden you were getting everything out. And
getting everything out, going to work on it, found a nice shady spot. Not shady as in shady, but well shaded from a tree.
Yeah, you have to clarify because, there
are some shady spots.
But you started to remove some lug nuts on that, and all of a sudden...
Crap!
Man, we're in a tight spot.
We broke one. Broke another one, so we had 2 broken ones.
2 broken ones. I remember your eyes were, like, huge.
Silver dollars.
And it's like, oh... I got done with my phone call, and it's like, what do we do? He's like, we need to find a parts store.
Find a parts store now.
We couldn't drive to it. Neither one of us felt comfortable with 2 broken bolts to drive on it.
No.
So, we're in town, so the internet works great. And he said, look for an
auto parts store.
So we found a O'Reilly about a mile away. And so what did we do?
We hitchhiked it.
We didn't hitchhike.
We walked it.
We walked it. In the neighborhood, because Robert said...
I don't want to get out on that busy street. That's what I said.
Let's go to the neighborhood.
It took us forever to get out of the Walmart parking lot.
I think half a mile, and it was a mile away.
Yeah. That was the biggest Walmart parking lot I think I've been in.
But...
We walked all 3 corners.
It was hot, too. It was
90-something.
So, but we made it to O'Reilly, and did you just buy them out of all their...
I tried, but I said, give me 5 for the front and 3 more for the rear. That way I'd have a whole 5 for the rear because I'd bought 2 previously.
So you have 5 studs and nuts for the rear.
Total.
Even though we don't have a problem with it.
Yep, we got spares just in case.
Okay. And then you got how many front?
5 for the front.
So that you had 2 extra.
Yes, from previous.
Okay.
Because I was going to replace them all no matter what.
All right. And so we got back walking, and you said let's just go on this busy walk. It's got to be shorter.
It's got to be shorter.
And lo and behold, as we were walking down there, we saw 2 closer
auto parts stores that were closer.
Oh, well. We got our exercise.
Now we know, look up the auto parts store nearest me when you ask your phone.
Well, I have to say...
We did get our exercise.
We did get our exercise, but I usually have on my phone the location services not set.
Ah.
I just don't. I have to type in. The near me does not work. I guess I'm
Yeah.
weird that way.
Yes.
So next time you look it up.
Right on.
That's your department.
Okay. I'll take it.
The auto parts department is Robert. Well, we were walking as quickly as we could in the heat because I had a second phone call that I needed to take, and we got back to the Jeep. I was able to make that business call, make that meeting on time, just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time.
And you started doing your auto mechanic stuff.
Yep.
And I'm talking on the phone, watching you, and all of a sudden,
Crap.
the third bolt broke. And my eyes were wide. It's like, oh my goodness. And then the fourth.
And then the fifth one broke. I broke every single one of them.
All five of them.
All 5 lug studs on the passenger front broke.
You need to fire that person.
Fire the person that stuck that on there.
Yes.
That was me.
Oh, yes, that's true. Because
I'm fired.
Before we left, you had changed out all the springs.
All the springs and shocks on it, too. And had the tires rotated and balanced. I rotated them and took them off individually and took them to a tire balancing place there in Ozark, Missouri. They had them balanced. We put them back in the back of my dad's truck and brought them back, and I installed them back on. But they weren't that tight to put back on.
Maybe they were just worn out.
They could be just worn out. About 200,000 miles on them.
Yeah. So you already knew that you were going to replace all 5 of them, but you thought you were going to have to beat them out.
Yep.
But no, they
went
just
into
broke
Walmart,
off.
bought a little 2.5-pound sledgehammer, some WD-40, iced tea in the shade. I was good to go.
And you were able to repair that.
It took longer to get the new ones in and get them all seated down than it did the old ones getting out.
Which you were surprised about.
Yes, I was happy.
Yeah. So, thank goodness the wheel did not fall off while we were driving down the road. And I'm glad that we took the time to do that there.
When we did.
And as you were finishing up, I went in to Walmart and got some cool, I guess I gotten something to eat. We were starving.
Oh, you got some meat and cheese and tater salad and lettuce, and it was good.
Yeah. And so we were there, goodness,
long time.
I'm looking through our travel log just to see.
We were there long enough to put them on there, all 5 of them, test drive it in the parking lot, rock it back and forth, get outside, tighten them back up, get back in, drive around the parking lot, rock it right and left, get back out, tighten them back up some more before we get on a major highway.
Well, we arrived at Walmart at 11:15 in the morning.
That sounds about right.
And we left Walmart 5 till 3.
Well, that wasn't too bad. That's like a pit crew.
Yeah.
In and out.
In and out. But we were tired with all that walking, and it was hot. It was just really hot.
It was
we
hot.
were tired. And so I found a state park that was fairly close, and it was called Henry Horton State Park.
And we have not been there before.
Yeah, it was within an hour from us.
We really like the Tennessee State Park system.
Mm-hmm. So we headed for Henry Horton State Park.
Henry Horton, here's a who?
Who? And we got there right at 4:00. So
Main office was already closed.
The main office was closed. We picked out our camping spot and met up with the camp host, and we opted that night to go ahead for an electric and water spot.
Yep.
They have camping sites, which we did a drive-by for tent spots, and those are nice.
Mm-hmm.
not so conducive for a rooftop tent because, traditional tents, you take them out of the vehicle and then you
Walk down and there's your spot.
Yeah. But it was a nice area. The RV spots where we were very nice.
Very nice, very levelish, and
levelish.
Levelish. No, instead of off-kilterish.
Okay.
It's levelish, semi-level.
They were mostly level.
They were paved and they were nice.
And
fairly wide.
All the hookups.
Mm-hmm.
No sewer hookup, but all the hookups.
Yes. No. Okay.
Just water.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see any sewer
I could have swore I seen one, but I may have been seeing things.
You could have been. You were delirious that
I was
day.
delirious from the heat.
They have showers, and their bathrooms are nice. And so it was a good camping spot.
Yes.
It was not free.
No.
It was well worth.
It was well worth it.
It was well worth the sucking down the electricity.
Yeah. We had to work that night too.
We had to work that night, and it had fantastic internet. At least your computer did not work on the internet, but I think that was your computer.
It's probably. I'm due for an upgrade if anybody wants to sponsor us.
He needs a computer bad. And goodness, we worked up into the evening till 11 o'clock, even though we were exhausted.
Time I shut my eyes, it was after midnight.
We woke up the next day and packed up because we wanted to... Oh, let's back up.
Okay.
How many miles? We only went all that day.
The whole day. We started out Meriwether Lewis, ended up in Henry Horton, Here's a Who, and 59 miles we drove that day.
All day.
But we were exhausted.
We were. But it was a productive day.
We got stuff done and we feel safer.
Yes, we do.
At least traveling.
So Wednesday, we wanted to get miles behind us.
Put the hammer down and go.
Yes. But no interstate.
No interstate. Keep it 55 or less.
So I guess the hammer wasn't down.
It was partially down.
Okay. And we were invited to visit some of
our friends in Newmarket, Tennessee.
So that was our destination. They were traveling to go see their grandkids on Thursday, and they invited us to spend the night at their place in Newmarket. Wednesday night. And it worked out perfectly because we all needed to leave and be on our way in the morning. So we didn't have any...
problems.
No problems.
Well, yes, we did. Around Lenore City, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. What happened there?
Well, we were going across this big old long bridge, and all of a sudden started vapor locking.
Oh, yes.
We made it across the bridge and then pulled into a little storage building place. Open the hood and let it cool off.
We've been having that vapor lock issue for a while now, and it's still not resolved.
We're getting closer, though. I got a feeling.
Getting closer. You did. We replaced the fuel pump.
Yes.
You've put in... I don't know what that stuff. Heat.
Stuff you'd wrap around exhaust manifold. Heat wrap.
You've been on a lot of forums.
But it was not on the exhaust manifold. We used that heat wrap on the fuel rail.
Mm. You've been on a lot of forums to
researching and seeing what's worked for other people, because I'm not the only one.
And it's not only cheap, but there's some folks that with Toyotas and stuff like that.
But for the Jeep ones, usually a heat shield, and then take some sort of insulation and put around the injectors, and that seems to work for them. But there's also some of them that says that made mine worse. So what do?
Keep experimenting.
Keep experimenting. Life's experimenting.
Life is an experiment. We stopped. I don't even remember where we stopped, but I think we know where all these auto parts places
We're g-
are because we
We're gonna
stop
learn.
in every little town at an auto parts place now.
The
And
joy of having an older vehicle.
and you stopped at an AutoZone because I think that you wanted to buy an injector or something.
Yeah, I wanted to see about getting some injectors for it, just because they're still original, but they could be leaky, could be bad. Haven't checked that really, so I was wanting to replace one and see if that worked on cylinder number 3 or 4.
It was at Maryville that we stopped at AutoZone, and Ralph came out.
Ralph was a nice guy.
I liked Ralph. I didn't go in. I was
Oh,
out.
you should have.
But yeah, they have air conditioning.
It was cool in there.
But Ralph came out and
Ran the codes on the Jeep, and had 8 codes in there. And he asked if the check engine light's been coming on. I said, Sure, it's been coming on. I haven't seen it lately since I pulled the bulb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure it's been on. So I had several of them in there, one for a coolant temp sensor. I said, I know exactly which one that is. That's one I started it up without it plugged in, replacing the power steering pump. So I knocked that one out. The other one was random misfire, cylinder 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So does that mean that you need to get injectors for 3, 4, 5, and 6?
If I do, I just get them all.
Yeah.
Have them all the same, all new.
They don't carry injectors.
I found out AutoZone, O'Reilly's, no matter which one it is, usually only carry one injector for that vehicle. That's all they are allowed.
Is that because they're kind of expensive?
They are. They're
That little tiny part.
Little tiny part is minimum $41.
And it's probably that they just don't keep them in stock because they do take up room and it's not.
Oh, yeah. It's a little part.
Well, I wouldn't think they'd stock 50 of them.
No. But at least a whole set. 6. That's all I ask. just 6 of them.
Just 6. So are we going to be going to all these AutoZones and picking up one at a
Well,
time?
Ralph back at AutoZone said, hey, there's one here, there's one here, here's one here. That's all on your route.
Oh, he's so sweet.
So, yeah, I'll just start with one.
Are you going to be replacing that while we're at Overland?
I think so.
Expo? Yeah.
I think so. Do it very carefully.
Oh, you found something else.
Yes.
You were looking underneath.
And the front drive shaft on the Jeep is rubbing against the exhaust.
What does that mean?
That means it's going to have to be moved over.
How do you do that?
Well, you loosen up the bolts and then you slide it over, tighten the bolts back up.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I'll get you to help me on that one. We'll take pictures.
We'll take pictures.
We'll do a how-to video on it.
It is a wonder we even got here.
Oh, it's fun.
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure for sure.
It's just a trip if there's no challenges. It's an adventure when there's challenges.
Sunlight is just starting to come up here.
It sure is. It's really pretty.
Good day for solar.
I think the forecast for the weekend is going to be really nice.
Beautiful.
Great for solar, and we have our volunteer spot.
Yeah, we got here last night.
And
Was there anything else that we needed to talk about?
Goodness.
No more challenges. Just had a couple of vapor locking issues that we stopped. And
We had several because it was getting hot.
And we went to Harbor Freight and got a fuel pressure test kit because I was going to check the pressure on the fuel, see if it's where it should be inside the specifications from the factory.
Mm-hmm. If we're able to do all these little repairs on your terms instead of on the side of the road, that would be awesome.
That would be great.
I don't mind sitting in the
shady spot.
shady spot in a shady spot in Walmart parking
under
lot.
tree.
Yeah, but people might think we're shady. I don't know.
Yeah, look at them people over there living out of their Jeep.
We didn't undo the tent in the parking lot.
No, we kept it clean.
But we did stop several times yesterday because
Had
of
a
the
beautiful
vapor.
drive though.
Yeah, and we were on some less traveled roads.
Yeah, they were pretty narrow, pretty windy, pretty hilly,
And pretty.
and just pretty.
Yes. But we made it, and we are parked at Overland Expo for the duration of the event. Given the Jeep a break,
Yep.
we have a couple of days that we need to work at the event. We have a pretty easy type of, it's just nice to be here, and then we are placed wherever they need us.
Yes. Thought we was on shower duty.
They have a really, I think the Biltmore estate has provided, or the event is renting the shower. It's a trailer.
Mm-hmm. Hot
And-
showers, cold showers.
Yes. And that is pretty awesome. At
I'm
Overland,
gonna try it though. I haven't
Overland,
been in it yet.
Overland West, they had nice shower tents, but this is a trailer
Yeah.
that should have hot water. As of last night, they did not. Today, I hope they do, but
Do you want to try it out?
maybe.
Yeah.
All we have to do is make sure that nothing's going awry. Oh,
Can I
that's
finish
so
your
sweet.
sentence for you?
Yes, nothing's going awry in the shower, and making sure it stays clean and everything. But the Biltmore estate staff is like running it and making sure it's clean and all of that. But with so many visitors and so many campers, they just need extra help to make sure that things stay nice and clean.
We're a monitor.
Yes. It's kind of like that security monitor
not
on
a-
TV.
We're not a fixer. We're just a monitor.
Exactly. We just report what's wrong. Last night, though, Robert was in his element.
Oh, yes.
We were assigned to parking duty,
Parking duty.
and Robert put on that
Volunteer vest and went to work.
and he was
Pointing them in a direction, whether it's right or wrong. I was telling them where to go.
having fun, smiling, and when people were going the wrong way down the wrong,
I'd stop them.
yep.
You're going the wrong way. I'm only going one way. Actually, I told him, this is a one way. He said, I'm only going this way. I said, well, it's the wrong way.
Turn it around. You even made a Biltmore person.
Yeah, I even
Turn around.
I made a Biltmore estate personnel turn around and go the other way.
Just because
Just
there's
because it's one way.
big vehicles here that would
There's some really big vehicles here.
no RVs.
No RVs. These are all off-road vehicles.
I already have met some great people, and we look forward
Another
to the
fellow
weekend.
ham evangelist, too.
Another ham evangelist. Maybe you should wear that shirt.
Maybe I should.
Guys, if you this is going to be a fun weekend.
Oh.
You're going to hear all about the weekend, and hopefully we can maybe we can interview somebody. I
You
don't
never know. We might interview our neighbor.
We could. That
We
would
got
be
several
awesome.
neighbors.
We do. We're surrounded by neighbors.
We're in our element.
I guess so.
Like-minded people.
We're a little crazy.
Oh, we're there.
But we appreciate you tuning in for our little adventure from Missouri to North Carolina. We made it.
We made it.
glad. And if you haven't already, we would be honored if you would subscribe to our channel here,
Yes.
our podcast.
And how did they do that, Gayla?
On iTunes, I think you just hit subscribe.
And how did they find us on iTunes?
Been there doing that podcast.
There you go.
You can also get on Facebook. If you haven't,
Liked us on Facebook.
please do.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button there. We would really
Follow
appreciate
us.
that. Follow us, and then you'll see more
What?
up-to-date pictures.
Yeah, up-to-date adventure pictures.
Adventure pictures.
On the side of the road. My
No,
pouty lip sticking out.
no, not on the side of the road. Just
Yeah,
on the parking lot.
in the parking lot. You know,
Whatever you want
Well-
to say.
pouty lip gets more likes
Yes.
on Facebook than a scenic random picture from
Yeah.
somewhere out west.
But go ahead, hop onto Facebook and like our page. We'd really appreciate it. And until next time, we hope you have a fabulous day, and talk to you later.
Toodaloo.